Welcome everyone to another episode of Couch Coaches, the show that loves to talk about the Warriors and just rugby league in general because we just love the game. I'm your host, John Lazaron, and I'm joined by my co-host, Richard, the bandwagon conductor, Laddie. Bro, it's been quite a week for Warriors fans or Warriors in general because of the big announcement of Shaun Johnson. And normally we would start the show with reviewing the game that the Warriors played on the weekend, but that wasn't really one big one to watch. So I think this week, we just go straight into acknowledging Shaun Johnson and the player he was and is, and in his announcement of retiring from the game. So I mean, big shock. I mean, it was a big shock, but at the same time, you saw it coming. That's how I saw it as well. That's how I saw it. How did you see it when you saw the news that Shaun Johnson had announced his retirement from rugby league?
Yeah, much the same. He's obviously had like last season he was untouchable. Pretty much the Dally M halfback of the year, and probably I think I've seen a lot of people still say I haven't forgiven the NRL for not giving him the full Dally M award, which I'm on board with that. So but just to see where he was last year to this year, he's obviously had some injuries that he's dealing with, and he must have just sort of realised, my body can't handle this. He's obviously had a bit of a hard time with the social media stuff as well, which we've talked about. So maybe that's played a bit of a mental toll on his decision. But I did find it interesting that he sort of said, like the Warriors basically offered him a contract for next year, and he realised he didn't want to be turning up and just taking the paycheck. He obviously wasn't in the right physical and mental place, whatever it was. But definitely a little bit of surprise. I think I have heard him talk a little bit about it recently and thought that he might stick around for another year. But I'm just glad that he's now able to retire a Warrior, and he'll go down as one of the greats, I think.
Yep.
Where would you have him in your Warriors of all time, John?
He's up there. I wouldn't say he's the best Warrior of all time, but he's up there. He's up there, with the Steve Prices, for me, the Michael Lux, etc., Kevin Campions. But I wouldn't say he's the biggest Warrior of all time, but still, want to honor Shaun Johnson because he's still, either way, whether he's playing for the Warriors, the Sharks, or even the Kiwis, he was an amazing player. And like you said, he's been going for a bit of a role. He's had a bit of a roller coaster ride the last couple of seasons. By his standards, he had a pretty poor 2022. Kind of similar to what is going on this year, except maybe not so much as in injury wise, but just the form wasn't there, and there were a lot of people calling for his head then, and giving it to him there. But he came back in 2023 last year, as you mentioned before, Dally M halfback of the year. Should have won the Dally M, general award, the Dally M award for 2023. But as the NRL does, they always seem to strip us of something. But and then coming into 2024, plagued by injuries, and I just think that along with that, combined with the abuse that he got on social media, and he made it clear that he was seeing everything because he came out and said it himself. He said to fans, "You guys are so savage." So he was seeing it, and that must have played a big toll on his mind. So, like I said, surprised, shocked, yes, but at the same time, I'm not, because there's only so much you can take, and I mean, looking at social media, there were quite a lot of people, sort of feeling guilty about the way they treated Shaun Johnson, but I think people were fair in their criticism the way he's played this year because he hasn't lit the world on fire. He's been pretty in terms of.
And he's acknowledged that as well, which has been, I don't know if you listened to the first episode of his podcast. So he's obviously, set up his podcast and he's potentially setting up a career for himself in media. And but he acknowledged it himself. He said, I'm the biggest critic, and I haven't been up to standard this year. I think it sounded like he actually went up to Webster and said, "Look, I can't go on. I can't play." When he had his injury, 5-6 weeks ago, whatever it was. But he actually went up to Andrew Webster and said, I've got to call that. And he actually said after that joke, sort of like that, probably for the best because they were going to drop me anyway. So he's very much acknowledged that. But you look at his, I mean, you look at his stats, and I mean, I asked you before, you know, when you put him in the Warrior, and you're saying that not number one, but I mean, he's got to be up there for me, you know, he's 221 career games, so it's 4 full time behind Mannering, Stacey Jones, and Manu Vedeve. 1,197 points, so he's leading point scorer, 78 tries, second only behind Manu. So yeah, I mean, he's up there with Mannering and Stacey Jones for me. I think, know, I put him at maybe not quite one. I think Simon Mannering for me. I always have a soft spot for Simon Mannering. But yeah, between him and Stacey Jones, they can probably maybe second equal there. But yeah, a real loss for the Warriors, and just so many good memories looking back. You know, do you have one memory that sort of stands out for you, John?
Yeah, well, I think there's a few. One that always stands out for me is that that winning try in the last 15 seconds of the game of the 2013 World Cup semi-final against England, where Magic Johnson puts a sidestep on and gets through and then wins the game for the Kiwis and then converts the try as well. So that was a big one for me because when you're a proud New Zealander and you see that happen and you win and you go into a final, you love it and stuff, and you always remember those sort of things. And there are a lot of tries. That try he scored against Brisbane as well. That Brisbane one, there's pretty much nearly a full length of the field try where a bit of side steps, combined with some goose steps as well. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Was it his first game? No, it wasn't his first. It wasn't quite his first game.
Might have been his first season.
Yeah, definitely his first season. Yeah, it was 2011. Yeah,
and that's the Sean Johnson that we know. That was the one that we know that could break a game. With a strong running game, pace. He's really fast as well. I watched a clip the other day where he chased down wingers and stuff. When they made a break, and he chased them down and tackled them. His kicking game on point as well, and his ability to put players into a gap. He was able to do all of that in one go. That's what made him such a special player. But that's what I meant by 2022, and now 2024, we haven't really seen that. He was a player that would, a halfback that didn't just direct everything. He took the line on as well, and that's what made him an awesome player. And that's why he's got so many tries as well. So yeah, he was an amazing player, and it's hard to see him go. But like you were saying before, the body's probably not. It's just every time he gets an injury, it takes a while to recover. He's played by little injuries, it's not just the same one reoccurring all the time. Different injuries here and there, and it's just time to go. But I honestly, for example, his new podcast show, right? It's called Play On, right? Play On. I'm pretty sure it's Play On. Yeah. When he announced that, when he said big announcement coming, and remember he sort of teased that big announcement coming, people were speculating: is he announcing retirement, or is he announcing another year with the Warriors? But then he's actually, he started his own podcast. Was he already in that mindset of thinking post retirement, like what am I going to do post rugby league? So you sort of think that maybe he was thinking. That's when I started to think, okay, what's he trying to say here? You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of players go into podcasts these days. A lot of players. I mean, even what's his name? Had a brain freeze. Our winger who's injured. Yes. How did I forget that? Because
everyone's doing podcasts these days, John. You and I included.
Yeah. Well, he's half Chilean, which is where I'm from. Well, where my blood is from, and I can't even remember his name. Now, Marcelo Montoya's got his own podcast with his wife now, so players do go do that. But for some reason, this was a bit different. It was like he was letting us know that this is what I'm going to be doing, post rugby league. And he turned down a contract with the Roosters, which is a big deal, which is big. And I thought, okay, is it because he's going to retire, or is it because he just wants to stay in Auckland? I thought more towards the Auckland thing, and he got offered a contract with the Warriors, but because he was offered, and he said in his media stand-ups, everything that he wanted was offered to him. So it's not like he wasn't going to get what he wanted. He got everything what he wanted, but he said in his media presser that it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. He didn't get excited. Like, he didn't get excited about a contract upgrade or anything like that. He just felt dull. that's not his words, but he pretty much says it like that. And that's when he realized this is the time. So yeah, it's like he said in front of his team, it's still sinking in, and I'm pretty sure it's still sinking in for him because there's still 4 more games to go in the season because we got one bye one bye to go as well. I'm just hoping that he will see the Sean Johnson of old, the one where I just mentioned, where he's got the running game, the kicking game, and the direction where he puts players into gaps. I just hope we see that. I hope he goes with that attitude of like, you know what, I've got nothing to lose now. Let's just do it, and just goes and does it, and just does it. If I get injured, so be it. I'm not playing anymore. I hope he goes with that attitude. Yeah,
like kind of like a weight off his shoulders. And it is a shame that I mean, we are obviously still a mathematical chance to
exactly.
make the 8s.
Yeah,
but it is a shame we're not in a better position where we might be able to, like, he's on 221 games now, for example, and Manu's on 226. So, it could have been a world where he might have either drew or even surpassed Manu if we'd gone deep into the finals, but it's probably pretty unlikely this year. But yeah, I mean, you see what I think he means to the club, and also what the club means to him. I did hear him say something about he didn't, when the Roosters gave him the offer, he said, no, I just want to finish my career in New Zealand and with the Warriors. It feels right. And yeah, I mean, when as I said before, like, you think of the Warriors, I mean, he's one of the first names that's going to sort of pop to your head. So a huge loss of experience. Just one of the great game players. It was quite cool seeing all the people that sort of commented on his post on Instagram. I don't know if you saw that. Like, the Wiggles were getting in there, and Nathan Cleary got in there. Yeah, Cleary's comment was cool. Like, something like, growing up in New Zealand, I looked up to you when I was younger, and obviously, because 2011 was when he, 2011 was when he came in, and so he would have been watching. Ivan would have been watching him when the Warriors made that charge to the final in 2011. Right. Which another great SJ moment it wasn't a try he scored, but it was a little try assist he had for Louis Brown to beat the Melbourne Storm in the preliminary final. I don't know if you remember that one. I remember being in the Octagon down in Dunedin watching that at a pub, and man, it was going crazy. And just on that that Kiwis moment as well, that semi-final moment where I remember watching that at my flat, and me and my mate Kez we were up on, like, literally jumping on a coffee table, like hugging, just like, this is crazy. And then we're like, oh, he has to get the kick. But he calmed down and got it. So yeah, huge, big news for the Warriors, and probably, probably help. Good for the listeners that don't have to listen to us. Try break down that loss on the weekend for too long. So it wasn't the prettiest Warriors performance. But.
And going back to, like, the going back to it, I just want to reiterate it because I think it's a good point to make in terms of mental health, because just because they're a celebrity, they're a star, doesn't mean, it's a cliche saying what I'm about to say, but it doesn't mean they don't have feelings. It's cliche, but it's actually true. Obviously it impacted him because he actually came out and admitted it. And I just think that fans have got to be careful. I think there's nothing wrong with criticizing a little bit, because, like, for example, I don't like to be harsh. I can be a critic in terms of, but a fair critic. Like, we talk about you and myself. We'll talk about the game. For example, we'll talk about the the game that we lost against the Eels later on in the episode. But it was a poor performance all around from all Warriors. Like, it was disgraceful, and that's just what it is. It wasn't a good performance at all. But it's got nothing to do with being harsh to the players. It's just the truth. And I think, like you said, he admits that he hasn't been in the best form, and I think it's time, that the Warriors, get someone new in there, and who that is, I don't know. And that's something I really wanted to ask you as well. What your thoughts on who becomes 7, because 7 is a key position in a game. It's like the general, like Stacey Jones, the little general. It's a general position, and not only do they only they're there to set up the attack and stuff. They're there to just to yell at the players and get them into line, knowing what we're going to do, set the plays up. Need someone with a good kicking game as well. And my thoughts, my initial thoughts is that Luke Metcalf would be the person that would slot in there. Even though Tamara Martin's been playing, Luke Metcalf has been out. Played New South Wales Cup on the weekend, and apparently came through unscathed. I think it came off after half time because they had a good lead, and so they didn't want to just to risk it anymore. But I think that Luke Metcalf has come out. He's come out. I remember him coming out saying he's a number 7, and I think even listening to the Warriorholic in his one of his videos, he's actually, because I think at first he wasn't convinced, but I think he's saying now I think he should be the 7. So I'm agreeing there as well, saying I think that for now Luke Metcalf should be the 7. And the discussion I had with Zane, the Warriorholic, is that who should they go to the market? Should they test the market with this? You've got Mitchell Moses, even though the Eels beat us on the weekend, apparently he's not very happy at the Eels. And imagine having someone like Mitchell Moses at the club and stuff. But and then you've got Jet Cleary, for example. Jet Cleary, I discussed this with the Warholic as well. I mean, I thought he's nowhere near ready for NRL level, but you wouldn't sign him on for 3 years now just to play age group level. So there must be some sort of idea that he's got a future at the club. You know what I mean? So would you slot Jet Cleary into New South Wales Cup next year? Do you give him that step up? So there's a lot of takings you can have at the moment with this. But who would be your number 7 at the moment, or who would you like the Warriors to go shopping around for another 7? Because you got Tamari Martin in the mix there as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a position that there's no shortage of depth, but obviously losing SJ is a big thing. I think. I know that I didn't know that Metcalf had actually come out and said that he considers himself a half.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like him as a 6. I think he's just he sort of offers that he kind of offers that spark. He's quick off his feet, got a brilliant running game, powerful running game, and sort of he's almost that Cam Munster build. So if he could get keep him at 6, and then I mean, we have seen Tamari Martin for about 2 or 3 rounds there. Tamari Martin was probably the form 7 in the comp, so we know that he's got he's got it in him. But I think obviously we've seen consistency is his problem. Yeah. But if he had some time in the off season, to build a partnership with Metcalf and the halves there and the back line that's around them, hopefully there's not as many changes there. So yeah, for me, I'd probably go Metcalf and Tamari Martin. As nice it would be to have a Moses, or maybe if Jerome Hughes got on the market, maybe you could entice me then because that Jerome Hughes, I honestly think he's one of the most underrated players in the comp. Just watching him play for that Storm team.
I think he's highly rated. I think just because he's the Kiwi.
Oh no, but still, I know he's rated, but he is so good.
He's awesome, and he's done well for himself to be at the Storm. Under Bellamy, and having that that confidence and that mental edge as well. That's really helped his game as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I honestly think that Webster's going to turn to Metcalf to 7. We'll watch the space. We'll see what happens. But I mean, he could go to Tamari Martin at 7, and Metcalf at 6. But I really think he will go to Luke Metcalf at 7, which means there's a big gap there at 6. Because Harris Tavita has been slotting in there, and I'm not saying he's not a 6. I'm not saying that at all. But I just think he'd be better utilized as a 14, as a utility on the bench. That's my thoughts on Harris Tavita. But who do you put at 6? And Tamari Martin has shown that maybe 6 isn't his number. It's not his position. He hasn't really.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. I think Metcalf has got more of a game of a 6. But yeah, I mean, if he wants to be a 7, I'm sure they'll give him a shot at some point because he's there for a few more years. And on the Jet Cleary, I mean, I've hardly even watched a highlight reel of him, but he's got a good, as you said, they've signed him for 3 years, so they've obviously got a long-term plan with him. So maybe not next year, but definitely imagine in the next couple of years, we could see him getting some good good game time in first grade as well.
Yeah,
So maybe next season could be, building him up so
I
he
think
can
so.
play 7 in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, well, he signed a 3-year contract, so I don't think they would sign him on just to play. That's what I meant before. I don't think they would just sign him on just to play age group footy. I don't think they'll be saying, "Here's a 3-year contract. You play Jersey flag, and that's it." I think there'll be reasons why they've signed him on for 3 years in terms of developing him and to see what he's got. And if he can produce or even do better than his brother, then awesome. That's good news for the Warriors. But
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be very, very nice.
In the house in a few years for the Warriors.
Yeah,
yes,
that would be very, very nice. Yes, exactly. I agree. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens because I think Sean Johnson will see out the season at 7. I think pretty much, even though I agree with you, there is still a slight mathematical chance we can do it. I still think that I think Webster will take him off, even if he's out of form. I don't think Webster will, take him off. I think he'll let him run out the season, and fair enough too. And really hoping, he's given the departure he deserves. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm hearing a lot of social media people saying that let's all honor Sean Johnson by changing our profile picture to a picture of Sean Johnson. There are other people saying that when the 7th minute comes along on the game, everyone just claps or stands up and acknowledges and claps for Sean Johnson. I don't know. They're all sound pretty cool, but whether it happens or not, it's different. But I hope that he gets the send off that he deserves.
Did you hear about the Mexican mana wave that they were trying to get going at Mount Smart the other week?
No. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't see anything. Did you see it? Did you? It sounds.
No, I don't know whether it happened or not. I think there was like a big campaign for it. Led by Tev. Do you follow that Tev Lover? The Tev on
oh yeah. I know you're talking.
Because of the wise memes. Yeah, I think it was like him and he was trying to he's hilarious, so I'm a big fan of him. But yeah, he was trying to start the Mexican mana wave. So maybe on the Bulldogs game we could get a Mexican mana wave for Sean Johnson, because I'm sure they've seen him. He'd be a big mana wave guy, I imagine. So but,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a sold out. So already a sold out Mount Smart, so it'll be it'll be rocking.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's just talk about something different here just for a moment, because we've talked about Sean Johnson, his retirement, and his impact to the team in terms of the season. It hasn't really been doing what he normally does. But in fairness, the whole team hasn't really been doing what they normally do. I mean, or if you take in last year, where did we go wrong? I want to ask you this question: where do you think we've gone wrong? For example, for me, we've got a very stacked forward pack. You look at our forward pack, and it is a monster forward pack. You got Fanua Blake, Mitch Barnett, you got Wade Egan, you got Niakure. You've got, you can put in Jackson Ford in there, or Capewell, or Tohu Harris, or Dylan Walker slots in if since Tohu Harris is injured. It's a stacked forward pack. So where did we go wrong? And for me, the back line is where we've gone wrong. And there's another thing. And look, I just want to say this. I want to make it clear to everybody, because I'm a big fan of Andrew Webster. I am. I think he's done a big, he's done some awesome things for the Warriors in the short time there. But I think at the same time, just a little bit of criticism is that I think he was just, his selections were off point. They were wrong. And I think he just got too loyal with some players. You know what I mean? And
but that's all part of the culture that he's building at the club. And
it doesn't always work when you want to win, though.
Yeah, but I think this year things haven't gone our way. I mean, you talk about the back line. I mean, I think you're forgetting about the fact that just the injuries has been the problem. Our two main halves have been, like Metcalf's been out since about round 3 or 4. Sean Johnson's had a couple of long stints off. There's not one player in the back. Last year we had Pompey. He played, every game. We haven't got close to that. I think Dallon's probably only missed 1 or 2 games, so he'd be the closest. Montoya's obviously been out the last 5 or 6 games. I mean, who started in centres? Was it Berry and RTS? RTS has just been kind of they're still trying to figure out what to do with RTS. He's sort of almost playing more of a sort of utility and fills in where it
Just-
gets
yeah.
needed in the back line, and then Chance has obviously been out a lot. So I think this season, a lot of it comes down to just injuries and struggling to, I don't know, the check failing to fire because of that.
I see your
the
point.
injuries haven't been as bad in the full pack.
But I have taken into account injuries because we've talked about it all the time. But what I'm saying is, for example, from the start of the season, he said the fullback role is Chance's, no one else's, right? He's come out and said that. But sometimes as a coach, you've got to make the hard decision. Like, I'm not saying Chance doesn't deserve to be there. That's not what I'm saying, because he does. He pretty much clocks up 200 meters every game he plays. But I think
300 on the weekend.
Yeah, but still think RTS is wasted in centre, and I think you should have him on the wing or fullback. And this week, for example, when I saw the team naming, I was just like, I didn't really like it, except for the forward pack. When you've got Kossi there on the wing, and again, nothing against Kossi. It's just I think he's he's in a bad patch of form. He's had a bit of a bad run of form, Kossi, and he hasn't done that great. And I just think that if you're going to put someone in there, try someone new, or but don't, or put Roger back there and put someone else in centre. I know that he's been trying with centres with the two young guns from New South Wales Cup in there, but they were terrible on the weekend. They were missing a lot of tackles. Harris Tavita, for example. I mean, this is a totally different position, but missed simple tackles. They were terrible, and I just think that I think he's just got selections wrong. And to be honest, in my opinion, I mean, Tamari Martin can't even make the 17, and he's in the games that he's most of the games he's played, he's done something well, and especially when he's in a position where he's comfortable. And I think so I just think selections for me have been a bit funny. Maybe more so on the bench as well. Like, I don't understand when you talked about injuries before. We're losing players. We will lose. There was a streak where we were losing players every week, especially in the back line, right? And I know you can't predict that, but I just think that having Lussick on the bench was a waste. Is a bit of a waste. I think when you can have someone like that can cover those areas more. I mean, I still think that, for example, because Lussick's on the bench this week, but I think Paul Roach should be there. I saw him play New South Wales Cup last week, and he looked great. He looked amazing. He's better on his feet. Lussick has always been sound defensively. He's pretty good defensively, but attacking wise, no. And I just think Paul Roach would be a better option there. And remember, before Paul Roach got injured, he was actually playing, and he was actually doing pretty well. And I just think that selection.
He only played that one game though, eh?
Yeah, but he still showed that he's got it.
He had a great game. I think it was in that Panthers game. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tuapiki, for example. I mean, you got Kossi on the wing. I'd rather have Tuapiki on the wing. If you're not going to pick Tuapiki, if you're not going to put Tuapiki in fullback, put him at wing then. I know wingers are more built but differently because they use his battering rams as well.
He'd be a pretty small wing, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but the thing is, he still has to collect the ball from the last tackle and still run it straight, just like the wingers do straight after that. So I still think why not give Tuapiki a go? Good in the air, good attacker, and he can kick. So as well, that's another.
I mean, this weekend, for example, I think the Katoa and Nikarima would have a field day kicking over to that corner, with Isako marking them up.
Yeah, but I still think that for me, selections has been an issue. That's just my opinion. But I mean, just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Where do you think things have gone wrong in 2024 when we had such a stellar 2023?
Yeah, they sort of. Yeah, as I said before, injuries and the inability to close games, to put on an 80-minute performance. I think there's been plenty of games where maybe we'll start first 20 minutes, we'll be up 12-0, and then we'll let in 3 or 4 tries, and then we'll come in, score 2 tries in the last 20 minutes. We'll dominate the last 20 minutes, but we'll lose by 2 or 4 points. I think. I think it was the last week or the week before. I sort of rattled through a few games. I might have stood the piece of paper around here somewhere. Yeah, 7 games, which one was a draw, and then 3 other 6 were lost by 6 or less points. So just the inability to to put on 80-minute performance and close tough games. And
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been helped by the injuries. But it's just the old. I mean, Friday night in particular felt like, we've been here before as Warriors fans. Did you feel that as well? Like it was just you came in, sold out Mount Smart, hopes were high, and then the Eels put on those two tries for the first 2 or 3 tries, and we were just. I mean, the Eels didn't play great in that game,
we make them look good.
We were home was nightmares.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right.
Which is a shame, considering sold out Mount Smart. We had to win that game to basically stay in contention. If we had won it, we'd be looking all right to make the 8. Still not definitely not guaranteed, but much more better place. So.
Yeah. Do you find it really interesting that the Warriors, like just going on what you were saying about the close games, etc., but we've won a few good ones as well, against the Panthers as well, Magic Round and things like that. Do you find it quite interesting that when the Warriors go through a little bit of adversity, they tend to step up when there's adversity? Take the Bulldogs game, for example. You lose 3 of your backline, key players in your backline in one game, but you still manage to keep with the team. You know what I mean? And they should have actually won the game. In the NRL, even though the NRL have not said they should have won the game, they've acknowledged that it should have been a penalty to the Warriors, and that would have won us the game. I believe that would have won us the game because they played their hearts out. It's so ironic with the Warriors, when they're all good, when they come on the field, you're thinking they're going to do good, they're all fully fit, and then they just play a rubbish game like they did against the Eels, like rubbish, like missing tackles, simple tackles and stuff, and rubbish play. They have this season, I don't know how many times, I don't have the stats in front of me, but how many times they had the ball in hand. They're in the opposition's, in 20, they've got chances, and then, they'll get another 6 again, and they can never convert it into points. The problem of executing their position into points. That was the problem. They couldn't turn it into points. I remember reading in the stats, for example, team stats. Warriors are quite up there for team stats in terms of running meters. I can't remember the term for it. Just like the percentage of sets. Completed sets. Yeah, that's the one. Completed sets. They're up there. So the thing is, they're not doing much wrong in those areas, but they can't seem to convert the ball, the position that they have. They can't seem to convert it into points. The ball in hand, they just can't get it together properly. Because when you're watching, do you notice when you're watching the game and it's last tackle, you're waiting for them to do something special and they just stuff it up. They don't know what they're doing. It's just like let's hope this works, instead of actually having a plan for the last tackle. It's like here, and let's hope it works. Yeah.
Last year, SJ was just trapping a little chip through into the end goal and we're forcing us. There was a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
we're building
exactly.
We're building the pressure up.
Exactly.
Either teams figured out the game plan, and obviously SJ probably hasn't been playing it as at his best. And the last tackle's been a bit of a. Yeah. And issue, particularly the last probably 5 or 6 weeks, I feel like. But it'll be one of the. I mean, the season's not over yet. As I said before, mathematical chance. I saw on Instagram maybe today, someone had the old Dumb and Dumber Jim Carrey meme of him, going, so there's a chance. So they're talking about the Broncos, but I thought it was quite relevant for the Warriors as well. But I suppose it's been a bad season for us, but it could be Broncos fans, John.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about our Warriors fans in the sense of, yes, as I've mentioned many times before, yes, the more on the bandwagon, the better. But be a true fan. Don't just jump on and off. And some of these guys that are criticizing have no clue about the game at all. That's what annoys me. That's why I always tell you to sort them out. But
they weren't there in 90. They weren't there in 95.
Nah, they weren't. They were there. They were there in 2023. That's when they started.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they become experts at the game, and they know what should be done. what this has, what needs to be done and stuff, and they just have no idea, and it's just that rolls me up a bit, and that's why I don't comment on social media a lot, because there's no point, because I'll just get into a long argument with people, and there's nothing wrong with having a discussion, but some of these stuff to say is just like, what, I'm not even bother here because you have no clue what you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, we're going from 2023 top 4 to possibly missing out on the top 8 this year, which looks more likely. I mean, I've already been blamed. My wife, she said to me this week, I want you to mention on the podcast that it's actually my fault that the Warriors didn't make it into the top 8 this year if they don't make it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, and she reminded me of this at the start of the year. I was annoying my wife. Okay, it's something that occurs pretty much every day on a daily basis. I was annoying my wife, and she said to me, "You're annoying me, so I'm going to tell you this: the Warriors aren't going to make the top 8 this year." She said that to annoy me back because you're annoying me, and then I annoyed her again. She goes, "Yeah, it's going to happen. You watch." And now we're in this predicament. And she actually reminded me last night. Remember to say in the podcast.
I'd argue that it's her fault, not yours, John. So your conscience can be clean, but yeah, she should be looking herself in the mirror and asking herself the big questions.
Yeah, nah, and she was just laughing at me, and she said next season, next season, on when the season's about to start, be nice to me, and then I'll say the Warriors will make the top 8. So I'm like, okay, but yeah, no, it's a hard watch. Like you said, you nailed it before when you said, as a Warriors fan, it's hard to watch these things because it's just like we're just used to it. We're just used to it and it's like it's just a hard watch. I mean, how can we lose to the flipping Eels? I mean, normally on the show, everyone, yeah,
they on a 6-match losing streak. They only won one of their last 12 games. They only had 48% possession in the game. They only completed at 75%. So this is before that. The Eels weren't good. We just made them look a lot better than they were. Made Dylan Brown look like Jonathan Thurston, and Clint Gutherson look like Billy Slater, prime Billy Slater. Yeah, it was just it was frustrating. I was pulling, I had a full head of hair before the game, and look at it now, like pulling it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got, no disrespect to Deja Nasi, former Warrior, but you had him at 7 because Mitch Moses is out, and their depth is very, very low at the moment at the Eels. They're clutching at straws to get players at the moment, and coaches as well. But the thing is, you got Deja Nasi running around us, and he looked amazing on Saturday. But it's like, how does that happen? How the heck does that happen? And yeah, it's just. We were terrible, and I just don't understand. Like every time we're down their end, and I get nervous on the last tackle because I just think they're going to stuff it up somehow. They're just going to stuff it up somehow, and nothing good is going to come out of it. And how many times have we seen nothing come out of it? And also, not just nothing come out of it. There've been times when the Warriors will run the ball on the last tackle and just run into a player and tackle, and it's a turnover. It's like, what the heck was that? It's happened. I've noticed it. A few times, and it's just like, did they know that was the last tackle, or were they just trying to make something happen and just it was rubbish? But do you know what else really annoyed me about the Eels game was that in the last 10 minutes when we needed to when they actually had some urgency in them, they scored 3 tries.
I know.
Why do they have to flip and do that? And why do they have to step up and go, okay, guys, there's only 10 minutes to go. We need to do something, and then they do something. Why do they have to wait till the
CTF alive for the fans? Keeping the fans on the edge of their seat. I think it was the 12 player. They also had a player sent off as well, didn't they? I can't remember who, but
their winger, and
it was just it was considering the circumstances, having to playing against sold out Mount Smart once again, playing against second to last. The bottom 16th on the table. It needed to be better, and it wasn't. So and it kind of sums up the season pretty well. Had some good gritty wins, but just some really bad losses. 3 that now come to mind. Both the ones against the Titans and that one in particular, which really hurt. So
I mean, yeah. Do you mind if we skip the Wally M's this week? Because I actually didn't have anybody because I thought everyone was terrible. I didn't think anyone was that great.
you gotta give someone some points.
Oh,
You gotta give
okay.
someone some points.
Well, okay.
I'll give mine. I got
All right, go for it.
Nickel Klodstedt got 3,
Yeah.
302 running meters, 23 runs, 8 tackle breaks, and scored a nice little try as well.
Yeah.
Mitch Barnett, 2 points, 20 runs, 167 meters, and 38 tackles.
Yeah.
Probably the only forward who looked like he was wanting to be there. And fresh off his personal news, there wasn't going to be at the Wires next year. Jazz off the bench, I thought he was actually really good, and probably, with Mitch Barnett, probably the only player looked like he wanted to be there, basically. So that's my 3-2-1.
All right. Well, to be honest, I'm not just saying this just to copy you, just for the sake of doing it, but I think you're right there. I mean, I thought no one was really great, but even Mitch Barnett, to his standards, wasn't at his greatest, but he was still trying. He was still trying, as you say. So I'll give him my 3. Chance, I'll give him 2 because you said 300 meters, but I didn't think he did that much either. And 1 I would give to, I was going to say Dylan Walker, but maybe Jazz, right? Because he's had a few decent games the last few weeks. So yeah, I'll do the same thing. For now.
I understand. Like when I was looking through the stats and just trying to remember the game, watching the highlights, I was like, I don't really want to give anyone points, but we've got to keep it up. I'll just go Mitch Barnett, a few points for him, so he'll be back in the race with Fanua Blake. It's definitely a 2-horse race now. So
yeah. Well, I'm just hoping, bro, that these last 4 games, they just don't go in with the same plan as they've been doing, because they've got us the same plan, and they only seem to, like I just mentioned before, get a little bit of urgency when they realize time's ticking away. And I just think that they need to go. They're playing they're playing a structured game, but it's too structured. You have to have a mixture of structure with a bit of flair. And Warriors are known for flair, but you're not really seeing it. And you need your halves to help you do that, and it's just not happening. And one thing that's really, really, really frustrating me is that when a team makes a break, there's always usually like a fullback there, or like your 5'8" or your halfback there in support. There's always someone in support when someone makes a tackle break. And when the Warriors have made a tackle break, sometimes there's no one. Sometimes there's no one there, to pass to. So they have to run it. They have to take the tackle, because you've got the fullback in front of you. So I just wish there was more better support in terms of when we make a break. But anyway,
we watch a lot of things on this podcast, and 2 points this weekend will be a start. Dolphins away from home. Dolphins over in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon, first Sunday game in a while. Actually, I feel like we had a run of Saturday games, and then we had a run of Friday games. But back on Sunday afternoon. Hopefully the weather's nice. I've got us taking this one out. I think the Dolphins are on the dipping down. I know that you sort of alluded to the team, and once again, it's not probably where we want it to be, but injuries have, forced that.
Do you have the team in front of you, just to let everyone know? Because as you can see, I'm not in my normal space. I'm in a hotel room, by the way, everyone, just away from work. But do you have the team in front of you? I don't have it in front of me.
Chans at the back, Dallin and Kossi on the wings, Alile Tua and Roger Tuasashik on the centres, Chanel Harris-Tavita and Sean Johnson in the halves. And then the front 4 backs the same as it's been the last couple of weeks. So Fanua Blake and Mitch Barnett in the front row, with Wade Egan at hooker, Nuakore, Kate Well in the second row, and Dylan Walker at lock. And we've got the same bench again. So Lasak, Komale, Jez Tabaga, and Lika Halasima. So Tamara Martin, 18th man. I thought maybe Sifakula could have got a call up for the bench. I
think it'll change. I think it'll change. That bench is pretty poor to me. I don't really like that bench, to be honest. That's my opinion, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if you see some changes like the ones you're making, the ones you're talking about right now.
Yeah, I think. I mean, he just like a bit of a bigger body. I'm not sure who for. Maybe for Tomale, maybe for. I think Jazz probably deserves to go. Maybe even for Fred Lassak, but we know what Wade Egan's. He likes a head knock or two, doesn't he? So But yeah, I mean, it is. Last week was must-win territory. This is must-win territory for the boys. But yeah, no, I'm backing them to get it done on a sunny Sunday arvo in Brisbane.
Yeah, well, it's been a good place for them to travel this year, especially when they beat the Panthers at Suncorp in Magic Round. And I mean, when I was talking about the adversity thing, that's another. Just wanted to point that out quickly. I know we're talking about the Dolphins game here, but I just wanted to point that out about the adversity thing where the Warriors, when they went into that game, they were up against it. They're playing against the reigning three-time premiers, and you've got Chance at 5'8". Remember how the whole team was just a scramble to get players, fit players on the field, and they had to go with this makeshift team, but they still won the game. So what I'm trying to say is, as I was going back before, the Warriors they just seem to play well under adversity. But anyway, go back to Dolphins. You right there, mate?
It's an itchy ear.
Yeah, I've got to say, what the heck's going on there?
You're talking too much, John. No.
Oh, far out. Well, on YouTube, people are going to see this on YouTube. Far out.
Oh no, they wanted to see me. I wasn't talking.
Nah, pulling out the wax. True. You're a good call. I didn't think about that. he was pulling out the wax from his ears, just so you know. Yeah.
Well, on your adversity point, last time we played the Dolphins was a similar. It was a week after that Panthers game, and similar situation. That was when I think Charles was supposed to play in the half, but then he got sick on game day. I think. Maybe Dallin was another one who sort of was a last minute. Oh no, Dallin was played fullback. He got the call up. Right. when he was leaving church, got the call up saying you're playing fullback. I think was it or he played in the halves, something like that. But and he played great. So yeah, you're right, and there's an element of adversity here, and the boys will want to be getting up for Sean, and probably can't forget about Jazz as well. The fact Jazz is leaving, I think that it's almost starting to feel like Jazz is going to leave, and then we'll see probably his best footy of his career once he leaves the Warriors. But like we've seen so many times.
Yeah, no, well, normally when we preview a game, we go into a lot of detail about bits and pieces. But right now, all I want is just a sound performance. A sound performance where they get creative when they've got the ball in hand in the opposition half, or in the opposition 20, and they get there. Like the stats prove it. All season they've done it, so they'll do it again. I just want to see some creativity. And if you don't have any idea, for example, if you're a half and you don't have any idea what to do, like just say you're a bit stuck, well, try and get another set of six by just dribbling the ball into the end goal and stop them. I mean, and stop them there and hopefully get the ball back from the kick from the dropout. But what I'm saying is, I just want to see some creativity. I think they've got the players to do it. I just want to see some creativity, and I hope the boys will rally, around Shaun Johnson, knowing that and like you said, Fanua Blake, Jazz as well, all going. I hope that's all sunk in, especially the Shaun Johnson thing, his announcement. I hope it's all sunk in for them, thinking like we've got to do this, and who knows, we might just make the 8 if the other results go our way as well. So
mathematical charts.
Yeah, I remember seeing on social media someone saying, "Oh, I just checked the points differential. If the Warriors are on, if we'd won, we would have been on this." But I'm like, how does that work when we're on an odd number? You know what I mean? We're on an odd number, so points differential doesn't work.
Unless it's Manly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Manly are pretty safe, aren't they? Is it the Dragons? They're probably the 8th is the best we can get, basically. So
I was going to comment. I'm going to say, how does points differential work for the Warriors when they're on an odd number? I was going to go, psh, 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 like you dumbass. But I didn't do it because I'm a nice guy. So anyway,
we got social media trolls around here, are we?
No, not at all. But
so when we record next week, John, just quickly, who's getting your 3 points? Who do you think's standing out this week?
Shaun Johnson.
Yeah.
Shaun Johnson.
All right, there.
I'm believing for Shaun Johnson just to give us a taste of what we're going to be missing, and people are going to start saying, "Oh, why is he retiring? If he plays like this, he should still play on." Do the backflip, because so many NRL players have backflipped on their retirement. Look at Luke Keary, retires, and then all of a sudden he's off to Super League. Pangai Junior. Oh, I'm not going to play NRL again because I want to be a full-time boxer. Well, how long did that last? And yeah, now he's going.
He's playing the best footy of his life at the moment, though. So
yeah,
hopefully we can shut him down this week. Hopefully,
yeah. Oh, I don't like the guy. Honestly, I just think he's the big grub. In his Broncos days, I thought he was the biggest grub. Yeah, Pangai Junior. But yeah, but you know what I mean. Will Sean Johnson backflip? I really don't think he will. But who knows? I always want Sean Johnson to go out there, play his game, and show people what we're missing, and then let the trolls know this is who I am, this is what I do. We love you, Sean Johnson. But yeah, so I haven't got much else to say, to be honest. Do you, about the game?
No, bro. Yeah, as I said before, I think we're gonna get it done. The boys will get up for SJ. And yeah, another good performance in Brisbane. Hopefully we can probably put on one of our first 80-minute performances of the season.
Yep. True, fair enough. All right, well, should we just quickly go over the tips? Can you go over do the tips for us this week, and then we'll wrap it up from there.
Yeah, right. Sounds good, man. Just quick review of last week. Cowboys, we both had them. Eels, none of us had them. Roosters, we both had them. Titans, you had them. I did not. Dragons, beat the Storm. Huge.
Yep.
Some crazy results last week.
Yeah.
Sharks, yes, we both got them. Panthers, yes, we both got them. And Bulldogs, we both got. So it was 6. You got one back on me, John, but I'm still about 6 points ahead. So
are you far out?
Bit of work. I actually haven't updated the spreadsheet in about 3 weeks, so I need to.
Oh, come on. Yeah, exactly. So how do you know? How do you know you're 6 points ahead of me?
Well, because we've been about the same the last few weeks, and then
come on.
I'll say I'm 5 ahead.
All right.
Okay, yeah. The Thursday night, Rabbitohs Storm in Sydney.
Storm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
They'll be Bellamy would have given them a big rack up this week after their loss.
Yeah.
Titans Sharks Friday night should be a pretty good game actually.
Titans.
You like the Titans?
Well, I just think they're playing well. Look how they beat Brisbane, the Broncos. I know Broncos are not in form, but it was
18-10 in that game, I think, and then they scored 6. Yeah, and they scored 6 answer tries in the second half. That's crazy. I'll go Sharks. Just point difference.
Good.
Eels Panthers. You think Eels are going 2 in a row?
No, heck no. They were flipping horrible, just like the Warriors. The Warriors were just even worse. That's all.
Yeah, and Panthers were pretty average against the Knights, to be honest, as well. So I think they might similarly come back and bounce back hard.
Yep.
Raiders, Sea Eagles in Canberra.
Sea Eagles. I don't rate the Raiders at all.
I've got to back my Durs.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. This is an extra 2 points for me.
It's a hard road trip.
Titans and the Raiders. Sweet. I mean, this is an extra 2 points for me. Sweet.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Cowboys Broncos, the Battle of Queensland, the original Battle of Queensland.
I'm going Broncos.
Ooh. I can't bet the Broncos after. Oh yeah, you're
thinking about it. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. Yes, this sort of thing.
Well, that's what I said last week. I said the Broncos have been so bad they can't get any worse, and then they went and did that against the Titans. So
yeah,
Cowboys are they've been a pretty hard team to follow. But if the Cowboys are on, they should win this at home. So I'm going to Cowboys.
Oh, there's 3 points from in the 3 points in the bag.
Dragons Bulldogs in Sydney. This
is a hard one to pick. I'm going to go Bulldogs.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just look like a really, really good team and a good place this year. So.
Well, they've ramped up their attack, haven't they? Since the Warriors game, because they had no attack all year. It's just defense.
Yeah.
But they've ramped up their attack a bit, so that's what's making them look a lot better. So yeah.
Yeah. Dolphins Wires.
Wires 1 to 12.
So.
Yep.
Knights and Tigers to finish it off on Sunday afternoon.
Must be probably the most boring game to watch. I'm going to go Tigers.
I'll go Knights. Penrith weren't great last week, but they put up a fight against Penrith, so it's enough. And they're at home as well. So
yeah, the thing about the Tigers is that they're actually scoring a lot of points in their games. But they're, for example,
they're often conceding more points than they're scoring.
Yes, that's the problem. They're conceding.
So who they play last year? Who did they last week? Cowboys. And it was
Yeah, and
like
there was like 40 points,
30.
40 points to
Yeah,
30.
like,
So they're conceding. Yeah, I agree. They're conceding a lot, but they're still scoring points. So hopefully they put a defensive effort there and they still score the points. You know, so
and they had Justin Olmoff for like the whole second half, and like I think they
yeah,
scored 3 answer tries. Like they were playing some amazing footy.
yeah, they've got a lot of young
What to
guns
like
coming
about
up.
Tigers?
Yeah,
I think next couple of years they'll definitely be better.
yeah, I agree. Young gun, they got a lot of young guns there that are
and
coming up.
Luai going there as well. Luai and Galvin will make a nice little halves pairing, and Dream Buller's a good player. So
Yeah, yep, yeah. Is that it?
Roosters got the bye this week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right. Well, then that's us for tonight, I guess. Honestly, just want to bow out by just saying, didn't have a speech or anything written out. This is just raw coming out from me right now. But just want to say, just want to honor Sean Johnson. Been following you since you started playing. You've been awesome. Every time Sean Johnson has played, I've always just watched and hoping that he will do well, even when he was at the Sharks. Because he's just that kind of a player that I never looked up to him in terms of a player or anything like that, nothing like that. I know a lot of kids did and stuff like that. I just looked at him as thinking like he's an awesome Kiwi player. Wanted to see him do well, and he was awesome. And it was awesome to watch him, especially when he was always just the sidestep combined with the goose step. When he ran like that, it was just amazing. Scored some amazing tries. So I just wanted to honor Sean Johnson, and go well in your future. I mean, I don't know if you'll ever hear this or see this, but go well in your future, and good luck with your podcast as well.
Love you, Sean.
Yeah.
You're the man.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I'll leave it to Richard to talk about, where you can like and subscribe. But, yeah, if you want to share the love, tell everyone about our show. And, don't forget to like and subscribe. So, over to you, bro.
Yeah, so whatever platform you're listening to us on, if you've got the opportunity to like or subscribe, please do that. We're on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart. There's a few others there, but you just search us, Couch Coaches. As I said last week, we should be in the top 30 searches with a little blue and green background logo with a little red couch on it. So
awesome. Well, good night, everyone, and I guess we'll finish off with Richard having a song.
We've got the faith, just a matter of faith. Otherwise, baby, choo-choo.